everyone, it's Megan. Welcome again to Top 5 Wednesday. Top 5 Wednesday was created by Lainey of Ginger Reads Lainey, and I shall link her channel down below. So as you can see, I have moved into my new place, and it is nowhere near finished. I still don't have my bookshelves up, and that is going to be tackled tonight. But I decided that I really wanted to get this filmed and edited because this topic, top 5 favorite books that you have read so far this year, sounded like too much fun not to do, so I'm doing it. But yes, I have to get my shelves done because I have an insane May wrap-up to do and, of course, my June TBR. So without further ado, let's begin. Coming in at number 5, we have The Bookshop book by Jen Campbell. This is a nonfiction book where she has gone around the world and picked around over 300 bookstores to talk about. So every continent except, of course, Antarctica is included. And so it's just basically a bucket list of goodness when it comes to bookstores. And so whenever I travel anywhere from here on out, I am first going to consult this book and find out what bookshops are going to be in the area that I'm traveling to. It's that extensive, and I absolutely loved it. Coming in at number 4, we have The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walton. This is a sort of historical, kind of paranormal standalone about Ava Lavender. It is told from primarily her perspective, but it also switches off occasionally to her her mother and her grandmother. But yeah, so Ava Lavender is a girl who is just happens to be born with wings, and so it follows across around 3, kind of 4, because it briefly touches on her great-grandmother generation of women and how they have been consistently unlucky in love. I found the writing style to be beautiful, and I was drawn in, and it was such a fascinating story and beautiful, and I loved it from beginning to end. So for number 3, it is pretty much a tie, and I couldn't decide between these 2 books. So the first of them is Watercolor Fairy Art by Sarah Burrier. This is a nonfiction sort of tutorial book of fairies and watercolors and various kinds of techniques. I read this back in, I think, January, February, and I absolutely adored it. I got so much pleasure from reading it and learned so many new things that I cannot wait to try. And the other one for number 3 is Relish by Lucy Knisley. I actually just read this past month in May, and so I have to talk about it in my wrap-up, but I will just say that this is a graphic memoir of a woman who it's chronicling from the time she was a young child to adulthood and sort of her journey through her life and the foods that were associated with each part of her life. I adored this book so much because I'm a foodie, and so I loved reading about her experiences and learning new things about food origins, and there were some recipes included in it too. But I will talk about that more in my May wrap-up. And coming in at number 2, we have The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. This is a paranormal, standalone, contemporary YA, and it is about this brother and sister, and that's a really common theme, actually. I just realized that 3 of my books on this list have brother and sister, maybe even in all 3 cases, twins. That's crazy. But anyway, so brother and sister, they grow up in this town where there are fairies, but they are separated from the community. And so they are a tourist community because of the fairies, but the fairies are pretty tricksy. And there is this horned boy who sleeps in a glass coffin and cannot be woken up. But then one day he is found not there anymore, and glass is broken around the coffin. So it's like, what? Where did he go? But yeah, so nothing is as it seems in this community. There is so much more depth than the surface would appear. I was completely hooked when I got into this book. Like the first, I don't know, maybe 50 pages or so, maybe I had too much on the go at that time, so I was finding it a little hard to concentrate, but it took a couple hours, and then once I got into it, I think I read it in a day because it was so friggin' good. I love Holly Black, and I just wish there were more books taking place in this kind of world because I love it. It's forest, it's fairies, it's like kick-ass magic and swords and fighting, and just so good. And coming in at the number 1 spot, we have I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. I forgot to mention, in Ava Lavender, she is part of a twin set with her brother Henry. So that's why I said before that, yeah, brother and sister twins happening a lot in this video because Noah and Jude are also twin siblings. So it switches back and forth from their perspectives, and it also goes back to like when they're kids, like around like I think there's 11 years old and then 13 years old and then present day when they're like around 16. Anyway, all you see in the beginning of the story is that they are not very close as siblings. And as it goes back and forth, you realize they were once when they were younger. But then when their mother dies in an accident, that just sets off a whole chain of events that leads them to present day where they are not very close anymore. And of course, as the story unfolds, you gradually find out what it is that they have done to each other, and it's crazy. And they're both artists in their own right. And so this is really awesome for me because I love reading perspectives from artists in YA books, well, just books in general, really, because I find I can really identify with them. There's a considerable amount of romance and secrecy in this story too, and so I blew through it because I had to find out what happened. I could not put it down, and I just love Jandy Nelson's writing. She has such a way about her, and so that is why this is #1. There you have it. Those are my top 5 favorite books so far of 2015 that I have read. I look forward to the rest of the 2015 and see what else I can come up with. So that's it for now. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I shall see you soon with my very epic May wrap-up. Bye, everyone.